What's up, guys? Boy here. Today we're doing another video. Today we're taking a look at the United States six color desert pattern. Let's begin. Funny part about this one is this has actually been working on in 1962 to be exact, during the entirety of the Israel-Arab War, which you could probably know. They were actually looking for trying to design a camo pattern. And they actually had that whole, Israel-Arab conflict, which, yeah, kind of all the neighboring countries didn't like Israel, which is kind of... And you could probably know they decided designing this camo. But they decided to scrap this whole thing because they didn't actually want to be involved with the entire conflict. But decided to design this in 1970s. Oh yeah, another note for this one is in the entire early prototype of it, there's also kind of the simple tan one, kind of like the OG 107, but instead decided to not use that variant. But during in 1970s, they decided to design this using for United States Rapid Deployment Force, and even that's so, that one's again completely was decided to be experimental. And now, in the 1981, they decided to use this camo again. And you could probably know for one of the biggest starters in this one here, or the two biggest difference of this. But we'll talk about that one. But there's actually other, experimenting a lot of things. This is during the daytime for... Now, you actually got a lot of the other variants, like the boonies, the scarves, and stuff like that, and even boots for some weird reason. But not having the boots with this type of pattern. It's just that normal tan boots, which we actually do use these days. But kind of the weird part about it here is they actually had a desert night camo variant, which, don't worry, guys, we'll talk about that guy later. And thus, and decided actually making it, and actually been introduced in 1981, and after the entire of the Gulf War. It actually was used during the entire of the Somalian conflict, and actually been used both for the tricolor camo and, of course, this camouflage. And after that, it's becoming very much of a more likely just now being completely abandoned. And another problem about it here is this also can be very expensive to make, so they decided to either buy it by secondhand or rather commercial usage during the Gulf War. And they actually try to find a thing to actually have it being, a lot of it being developed. And yeah, this was... Yeah, you actually do get to rather actually kind of nosing from this. From the... the thing itself. Yeah. Now let's get to the top piece first. Okay, the camouflage itself, if you could probably know. So, pattern itself, you get the normal tan. You get a slightly bit of a light tan. And the one I have is, you also will have is a light brown, dark brown, and of course, the tan with a little bit of blacks here and there. Which that's kind of what it is. But if you actually kind of look similar to like a chocolate chip pattern. Now the top piece itself, it's like a normal BDU. It actually been relying on buttons themselves, having like 5 buttons to secure the thing, to wear the whole thing itself. This one I have is, kind of the really weird part about it. This is actually the earlier, or rather the first pattern variant of it. but here's what it looks like. Coat, camouflage, pattern, desert. That's kind of what it is. Another weird one about it here is there's some extra piece of fabric inside here too. I think this is kind of the burst variant of it. So that's kind of the thing about that one. Yeah, this is the one that has added the fabric for reinforcements to it. So that's another thing that's also added in. You also have 2 pockets on the breast side. On the front side is the breast side of the pockets. The one I have here have 2 buttons on there, and also have a little pocket here, right in here, which that's another thing you could probably see from here. And this one does not have a little tiny pocket in here, but it also has it on the bottom too. So that's the only difference on the other piece, or on this particular piece itself. And on the back end, this is what you got. And the entire cuffs would act. You can adjust your cuffs for your wrists, so that's what it looks like. So let's talk about the pants itself. So the pants itself, it has 3 buttons on the groin area. There's belt loops all around. The waist straps for to adjust it and to loosen it. They got pockets on both sides. They got 2 pockets on both sides too. 2 larger pockets, or yeah, 2 large pockets on the sides. This one's also is a little bit reinforced pattern, and that's about it. While on the back end, you actually have two cheek pockets. Two cheek pockets, and there's also the ankle straps to adjust the ankles or tightening it. And inside this one in particular, this one's made in around about 2001. So let's test his bad boys out. Now, unfortunately, now the test itself, and rather how it's been tested, unfortunately, this was actually one of these camos that didn't really actually used a lot. Now, it's actually been used for things like the Persian Gulf War, through through the entirety of the Somali War, or rather the rather kind of most noticeable is the entire Black Hawk Down. Now, since this camos have been ultimately been replaced by the tricolor camo or the desert color camo, or you know, just remove all the chocolate chips and add nothing more than anything else. Just removed all the chocolate chips, and you get is the DCU. Now, despite this being like now become obsolete and abandoned, there's actually other countries actually still uses it, which is kind of pretty interesting about it. Things like Saudi Arabia or even some Middle Eastern states would have this, and even some of them would have like a very grayish variant, which I kind of really wish I had that variant because it actually looks cool as hell. And Thailand, where they actually do have a more green version of it. So and also giving probably the weirdest appearance in a film, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Yeah, that movie. So I'm giving the six color desert pattern an astounding of like a 6 out of 10. Even though this didn't blend in a lot, but it's actually is more likely was used during in the Gulf War. It's become into the now called as the Gulf War camo because that's the only well known for this camo. Even though it's kind of and also it's kind of really interesting camo. I kind of like this one. Very kind of have that more aesthetically pleasing looking camo than anything else, which that's totally fine. It's kind of pretty weird, but that's okay. So that wraps up of the 6 color desert camo pattern. I'm Boy, and I'm signing out. I see you guys next time.